Last year I did a video looking at every single unlockable hairstyle in the game and the restrictions for those. I'll link that in the description if you want to go watch that. It is still largely quite a good video. However, in that video there were a few things that we mentioned, such as certain hairstyles that were not available to two of the new races, and of course the genders for those, which was for Viera and that of Hrothgar. So in this video I want to show you exactly what basically has happened in a year since that video, how many hairstyles they can now use, and what is still locked away from Viera and Hrothgar. So for this, let's split it into two halves. So firstly, what does work now and what has changed in the various patches for the last year up to patch 7.5. So firstly, we've got Special Issue 1, which is from the Minfilia's attire on the Final Fantasy XIV online store for real money. This can now be used by female Viera, as this is a female locked hair. Obviously, it's only female Viera and all of the female races, but still no female Hrothgar. Unfortunately, they have not been included in this, but at least Viera can look a little bit like Minfilia if they want to now. The Adventure hairstyle from the Gold Saucer, which costs 14 MGP, quite a common one, can now be used by Hrothgar female, making this hair now usable by every race and gender in the game, finally. So that's pretty good. Styled for Hire, which is from PvP for 18,000 wolf marks from the Wolf's Den Pier, now also works on female Hrothgar, making this usable on all genders of every race as well. We have the Great Lemps hairstyle, one of my favorites, for 30,000 MGP from the Gold Saucer. This can now also be used on female Hrothgar, bringing this availability to every race and gender combo in the game. Saintly Style for 1800 Skybuilder scripts from the Ishgard Firmament can now also be used on female Hrothgar, bringing this also accessible to every race and gender combo, which is quite a nice one. The Charlian Studies online store Alphano outfit hairstyle can now be used on female Hrothgar, also making this available to every race and gender, which is pretty good. We've got the Early to Rise hairstyle, which is originally from the Delibram Regine or Zadnor for 5 Bosgen coins and 30 platinum coins, or more recently from the South Horn for silver coffers. This is now also available to female Hrothgar, making this accessible to all races and genders, which is pretty good. We have the Strife hair from sweepstakes and other competitions in the past, and other competitions that Square Enix have ran for the game. This can finally be used on Viera male and female, which is really good. But unfortunately, no Hrothgar still currently, which is unfortunate. So even if you did win a competition, at least Viera can use it, but Hrothgar, you're still waiting. So if you've got one of those and you play a Hrothgar, you might be waiting a little bit longer, unfortunately. The Lucian locks from the Final Fantasy XV, Noctis's hairstyle basically from a crossover event in the game, can finally be used by both male and female Viera, but still no Hrothgar. So if you want to look like Noctis on your Viera, you can, but Hrothgar again are missing out. There are also a couple of new additions. Male Hrothgar gained the Dawntrail hair from the trailer that the male Warrior of Light or Meteor uses. Female obviously did not, so that's really good. That brings Hrothgar in line with using that hairstyle. Male Viera also gained the short spiky hair. I don't know what else to call this. It doesn't have a name. It's not an unlockable from the end of a character creation there. That's a new one. And female Viera also got that as well. Male Viera also gained this long cut-off hair, and so did female Viera as well, which is quite a nice one. You'll see this on a few other races as well. So they're starting to bring things cross-race in terms of hairstyles, bringing them up. It's quite a nice long bob, really. A flat cut at the front. Quite nice. So that's the things that have been changed to be used, but we also have, unfortunately, a quite large section of things that still have yet to be put into the game. So the Curls hairstyle, which is 9600 MGP from a Gold Saucer, the big Afro style hairstyle, this can still not be used on female Hrothgar. Everyone else can in the game. We have the Scion Special Issue 3, which is Y'shtola's hair from the Y'shtola's modish attire on the Final Fantasy XIV online store, which is obviously gender locked to female, but still cannot be used on female Hrothgar either, so maybe that'll get unlocked in the future. The Samsonian locks from a Palace of the Dead, Bronze Iron, Silver Sax. This can also still not be used on female Hrothgar, but everyone else can. The Girabanyan Plait from Heaven on High, Silver Sax, again, not usable on female Hrothgar. The Lexan Tails for 50,000 MGP from a gold saucer after you finish the Ivalice Alliance Raid Series storyline is still not usable on female Hrothgar either. We have the form and function, originally from Happy Bunny lockboxes in Eureka Pyros, more recently added to the South Horn loot pool on bronze coffers. This also cannot be used on female Hrothgar. Modern Legend for 1800 Skybuilder scripts from the Firmament of Ishgard cannot be used again on female Hrothgar. The Windcaller hairstyle from the South Horn Silver Coffers, or 150 Bosgian clusters, this also cannot be used on female Hrothgar still. The Liberating Locks Final Fantasy XIV Online Store lease outfit, which of course the hair is locked to female characters, still cannot be used on female Hrothgar either. The Practical Ponytails for 6,000 Seafarer carries from Island Sanctuary also cannot be used on female Hrothgar. The Charlian Rebellion store, which is Alisaie's outfits, so that's obviously the female version of the Alphino one, it's just got a slightly different coloured bow in the back, cannot be used by female Hrothgar, but bear in mind that Alphino's one will work on female Hrothgar. That's a series of logic, I suppose. We have a Close Shave, one of my least favourite hairstyles in the game, Eureka Orthos Bronze Sax. This also cannot be used on female Hrothgar, probably for the best, really. Ambitious Ends, then, from Mount Rock on variant mode for 6 potsherds, cannot be used on female Hrothgar yet. The Bold and the Braid from Aloha Island 6 potsherds cannot be used on female Hrothgar either. And finally, Scion Special Issue 2, which is Thancred's hair, which is from Thancred's modish attire on the 14 online store, which is obviously male locked, cannot be used by Hrothgar, but everyone else can. So the majority of a lot of things are still female Hrothgar being left out. Now, bear in mind that female Hrothgar, the latest of those updates, came out in June 2024, and we're currently in July 2026. There is still quite a lot of hairstyles that have gender locks on them, and also locks to certain races only, or genders of those races. Female Hrothgar might take the rest of the year, or maybe another year or so, to catch up. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people are a little bit disgruntled with the implementation of those races. It does not seem to be that much of a priority. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Evercold, because it seems that Square Enix, at least in the keynote that we saw at North American Fan Fest, their focus seems to be on character creation and customization, with hair color droppers for things like hair and eyes, and, you know, eye shadows and lip gloss and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be nice to see if they, you know, do a massive patch where there's just all of these hairstyles get updated. That would make a lot of people very happy. In the grand scheme of things, there are a lot less to update than there used to be, but we have waited, or people have waited, since 2024 to be able to catch up their characters, and Viera is only just catching up, quite honestly. There's only a couple of things left for Viera, but female Hrothgar certainly seems like the one to watch. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful to show you what could be updated in the future and what you do have access to in the last year. Hopefully they add more things to this list in some of the future patches. The expansion is not over yet, but I would imagine a lot of these will probably get changed with Evercold. Fingers crossed. Anyway, much love, more videos on the way from everything in Final Fantasy XIV. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.